are entering ENC's Pod of Awesomeness.
Birdman, so here's the deal. Even though I'm usually the guiding light of this show, even though I am the broad shoulders that will carry, the momentum, and you just sit there and squawk and go, like shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm tired, man. I'm jet lagged. This jet lag thing is a thing this year. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. Maybe it's because I'm world weary.
Maybe.
You think?
I don't know. Maybe it's just your fat.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Hey, I'll have you know that I have lost weight over there. I'm down to 231.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never been 231.
Well,
that might come as a shock to some people, but it's the truth.
Well, one thing that people were always confused with me during my career, they assumed I was like, why didn't you go for the Cruiserweight Championship? Well, because I'm 240 pounds. Yeah. I think people lose track of that. So, and since I've retired, I generally float around 250. And sometimes it can be an okay 250.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be a dad bodish 250.
Yeah.
Now I'm 231, sucker. So I ain't fat.
It's funny. I was at the New York Comic Con this past Thursday and Friday. Had a great time. Met a lot of cool people. Always loved doing the signings and meeting fans, stuff like that. Hung out at the Headlock Comic booth. My buddy Mike from Headlock Comics. So if you get a chance to check them out,
check it out.
Go on their website. Go at Headlock Comic on Twitter for all the information. He's a good dude. He's got a great comic book, some art done by Jerry Lawler and such. And it was funny because I heard quite a bit over the couple of days that I was there. People said to me, "Oh, you're a lot taller in person." And I'm just wondering, well, I'm not like the tallest guy in the world. I'm about 6'1", and I'm wondering, and I said, how short did you think I was?
Yeah. What did you assume?
I don't know. Maybe they watched a lot of matches against me and Kane, or me against Big Show or Taker or whatever. Man, just maybe thought I was like 5'3" or something. I'm not sure, but yeah. I don't know. I got a lot of that this week. You're a lot taller in person.
Particularly once, because this one blew my mind. A dude walks up. He goes, "Could you stand up?" I was like, "Oh man, he's one of those guys. I got to stand up and show him how tall I am." I stood up. I'm like a foot taller than him. He goes, "Man, I thought you were like 5'7". I was like, "What?" Okay, so if I'm 5'7", so then Undertaker is, I don't know, maybe 6'1".
Yeah. So Rey Mysterio is like 4 feet tall?
Basically, yeah. 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 Good times. Yeah. So, but TV, it does kind of, it makes things strange because I'm 12 inches on your TV. That's what she said. I don't know. There was a joke there, but maybe there wasn't, and I'm forcing it.
Yeah. Also, something else happened at Comic-Con.
Really?
Yeah. I met Mega Matt's wife.
Oh, man. Did he? So, totally went above his pay grade, right?
Oh, he outkicked his coverage big time. Yeah.
Him and Pete Gas. And I know Gas just went, "Oh, man."
Yeah. Very pretty girl and very nice. She was a very, very nice. I had a really good conversation with her. Wish I had some more time to talk to her. Very cool. Got to tell her about
she was there dressed up as a Power Ranger.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. And, and it was funny because I told her the story that Matt had told us the previous week, or that I had told. And she was kind of embarrassed by it. He's like, "Yeah, he won't let that go." And so, anyway, I told that story.
I won't let it go. It's pretty crazy. I mean, a lot of crazy stuff's been happening to me recently. I mean,
why? Something more crazy happened this week?
Yeah, this past weekend, I was telling Adam I was in Georgia, and I went to an aquarium with some of my family. I went down there, and we went to the Georgia aquarium, and I was taking a picture of a jellyfish.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, "Get the fuck away from the jellyfish tank. Other people want to see." The thing was like 30 feet wide. There were jellyfish everywhere. So a lot of crazy stuff going on.
You're a jellyfish Bogart.
I mean, Jellyfish Bogard, ugly. I mean,
Man,
lots going on. Yeah, tough times.
there's a lot on your resume there.
Tough fall for Matt. For Megan.
Yeah, tough fall from Grace. Yeah. You heard the question mark there, right? It's a big week, Bird. Big week in the wrestling place, in the wrestling world.
Wrestling biz.
Yeah.
Brother.
Yeah.
Another cool thing that happened at Comic-Con was that Tommy was there with me on Thursday, and got a lot of cool feedback from the hosers. There's a lot of hosers in attendance at the Comic-Con. They want to see some merchandise, which is cool. They were giving me ideas for T-shirts and things like that. But the best was whenever somebody talked to me at the pod, I said, "Hey, did you see Tommy over there?" And right away they would go, Tommy, Tommy. And he would get so mad. It was the best.
Yes, he says he's mad. I don't know.
Oh, he loves it.
He loves it.
Yeah.
Deep down inside,
So,
he loves it.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you had a good weekend, Bird. I flew back home, and it is glorious to be back home, to be with my girls and my dogs and in the mountains. Yeah, but I'm tired. Bird.
Yeah.
That was my point. I might need you to pick up my slack.
Yeah, well,
because we got a big guest this week.
We do. We have Kevin Owens, fresh off of the Hell in a Cell against Shane McMahon. So
fresh.
Yeah, we'll talk to him, see how fresh he is, right?
Like a steaming loaf of bread, like a Krispy Kreme donut, hot off the press.
I would say that warm. He jumped on with the rocket strappers, and we're going to try to get this kid a little more momentum going forward.
Try and get him to the top.
But I mean, he did himself a lot of favors in this Hell in a Cell. So I don't know if the strappers can even help him. I mean, we helped.
You don't think?
Well, last week we didn't even have a guest, so sometimes the strappers just got to strap it to themselves. You know.
We do, and sometimes we got to get our rocket fuel. You know, we got to fill up the tank again. So that's what last week was.
Would that be the Yerma Mate?
Yes. Which, in case you're wondering, back in North America, listen.
Yeah.
I am going for blue for you today. I'm saving it for our guest, though.
Hold on, I just got a message on my phone. Oh no, it's not. It's
Did you really need to answer it right now?
No, it's just saying your move, Words with Friends, against. So.
But Kofi always beats you, right?
No, he doesn't. Actually, I beat him more times than he beats me.
Really?
So,
but you two are considered the Jedis of.
Kofi and I have been playing Words with Friends.
It's like 10 years now.
For 2-3 years at least, and it's kind of an unsaid rule.
It's not 2 or 3 years. Did you just say 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, straight.
It's more than 2 or 3 years.
Has it been?
I was still there.
Oh my goodness, we've been playing for.
I'm retired 6 years, dude.
I'm gonna go. See how many times. I don't think.
What'd you just say?
I'm going to go on and see how many times I've played them. We can give you that kind of.
I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go on here and see how long I played them. But
what just happened there, Cobra Pile?
But yeah, and it's kind of an unwritten thing too with us, or unsaid, that the loser always makes the first move in the next game. So yeah. Well, back to my get, by the way, KO. Yeah.
I see how you tried to switch the heat there.
Yeah.
Tried to change the subject to Words with Friends and Kofi.
Yeah.
My get this week, good old KO. So we're going to have it's perfect timing to have a chat with them. But before we get there, I think there's other stuff we could talk about this week.
Right.
Like
your face.
I'm about to spit it on my face, but you just interrupted me. Oh, here we go. The coffee's kicking in. Yeah. So Usos, New Day.
Yeah.
Got to start there. Kicked off the show. I knew it was going to kick off the show, so I was excited. And hot damn.
Nice to see the brass listen to the strappers too, and didn't put them on the pre-show.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. They finally realized they're like, you know what?
Yeah.
CNC guys, they got a handle on this thing. We got to listen to the strappers.
They've been around the block a time or two.
Yeah. Yeah. Go from pre-show match to a Hell in a Cell. So they listen to the strappers, man. That's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah. But first tag team match in a Hell in a Cell, I believe. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe DX and the McMahons.
I don't know. I can't
I think,
remember.
Yeah. I think that was in Hell in a Cell.
It's been a while.
So
I know
it's
that,
not the
so.
first tag match, but it's the best tag match that has been in a Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard with concept matches like that, especially when, like they said at the beginning of the show, it's 20 years now since the first Hell in a Cell, which is crazy.
Insane.
Because I remember being there for the first one. And before we get to the Usos New Day, I'm going to tell you my story about Hell in a Cell, the very first Hell in a Cell. Not the very first Hell in a Cell. What the hell am I talking about? It's Mick Foley, Undertaker, Hell in a Cell. That wasn't the first one, obviously. I remember now. But it was in Pittsburgh at the Mellon Arena. And I remember, I believe you were with me. We were flying with Owen that day he was flying through Toronto.
Yeah.
And our flight was delayed, canceled. And we followed Owen because he was a master traveler.
Yeah.
And he had his little flight guidebook, which were things then. And he goes, okay, follow me, guys. And he got us rebooked on a different flight, got us in there. We rented a car, which for Owen was rare because usually he'd have someone pick him up and take him to the building and pick him up and stay at their house. Yeah. And he that day taught me how to travel.
Yeah.
How to get there, no matter what, get there.
Yeah.
And he figured it out, and watching him do it was like watching a cobra wrangler. I was just like, what is happening right now? So we got there, and then I remembered the match itself, but real quickly, I just remember seeing Mick and Taker up there going, oh no. Yeah. And just all of us jumping. I was with Francois, who was our quote doctor then. I don't know what he necessarily was. Yeah. And we all just jumped up in the air. And then, of course, the match continued, and Mick came back with teeth in his nose.
Yeah, and then, and I remember just going back to the Owen traveling thing. Yeah. Right after I went and I purchased a monthly subscription to that flight book, which was obviously before cell phones or apps or, checking out flight information on mobile devices and things like that. Like there was actually a book that had every single flight everywhere in every airport in the world, and you got it monthly, and you could flip through and see when certain. That's how you knew when there was different flights and if you needed to change your flight. And I immediately got it after that because of Owen. Just crazy to think how far technology, which once again we should do an episode on the technology and how it's changed the biz, brother. Even right there from traveling.
Yeah, from that perspective that people wouldn't even think of. And over the years learn, okay, Delta Hub, US Hub, American Hub, yada, yada, yada. But that was the beginning for me. All right, folks, the Birdman, he's having himself a little bird bath, so I'm having to pick up the slack, as per usual, when it comes to the ENC Pod of Awesomeness. But this episode is brought to you by a new concept, by a new pod that's coming out. Let's face it, it's tough to find a new concept in this medium, but they've done it. You see, Napoleon famously said, history is a version of past events that people have decided upon. In other words, there are many sides to every story. So what really happened is a new groundbreaking documentary podcast series executive produced by Dwayne Johnson and Danny Garcia. Award-winning documentary filmmaker Andrew Jenks, he's not interested in the conspiracy theories, and now he doesn't even need a camera. With cutting-edge information databases, newfound witnesses, and rogue investigators across the globe, Jenks finds the access and speaks with the people who can help him extricate the facts and unravel the truth, however dirty and foggy it may get. Did Muhammad Ali really save a man from jumping off a 9th floor office building? Was it really Chris Christie's former high school baseball scorekeeper who was responsible for the Bridgegate scandal? Could drug abuse have been what changed the course of World War II? Why did Michael Jordan really retire? From $7 Productions, What Really Happened, by Andrew Jenks, with a special appearance by Dwayne Johnson. Subscribe and listen to the trailer of What Really Happened now on Apple Podcasts and wherever you listen.
There's something else I got to say here, and it's no Mick Foley falling through a cage and coming out with a tooth out of his nose. No. But I saw a few baseball slides on this Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and people may or may not know this about me, but I'm deathly terrified of baseball slides.
And let's just clarify, we're not talking like Dodgers sliding into third. No. Shaking their tongue,
not sliding through somebody's leg, coming off the ropes and sliding through somebody's legs, which was a pretty it was in my arsenal for a long time.
It was in your
And
wheelhouse.
I consider myself a pretty damn good baseball slider. And but one time overseas against Sheamus, second half of a European tour, brother, Brussels.
When they get ya.
Did I talk about this, Matt? Have I talked about this before?
I don't know. You're going to have to finish the story.
It wasn't memorable if you did.
Where I baseball slid through Sheamus's legs and caught my toe and almost ripped my leg off. Did I talk about that?
But it might have. So just briefly, what do we?
Anyways, I baseball slid through, caught my toe on the mat. Thought I broke my leg. Didn't. Had a really bad high ankle sprain, which the doctors told me would have been better if I broke it. So now I'm definitely afraid of baseball slides, especially in big matches, because I'm worried that if somebody hurts their ankle, it just throws everything off track. And I saw a couple, and every time maybe just because of my own experience, I tense up when I see the littlest baseball slide. So I saw a few of those. I saw Xavier Woods do one in that match, and it scared me more than anything else it did.
Especially with
all this other stuff in the cage. The thing that scared me the most was the baseball
slide.
Yeah.
Because he was wearing curly toe boots. That's why.
Man.
He was wearing his chic boots, which adds a different layer. And I know you think I'm crazy, but it actually does.
Yeah.
It does. I know it sounds stupid, but doing a baseball slide with curly toe boots is different than just doing it with straight up boots.
Yeah.
It is. Also, you have more of a history with the baseball slide than maybe you're remembering, because in Calgary, Alberta, you had a match with Maven. He baseball slid, broke his leg against you.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Yep.
And I didn't learn my lesson there.
Baseball slide, brother. Who knew it could be a finish?
I'm telling you, they're dangerous.
Yep.
Steer clear of the baseball slide.
So anyway, back to the New Day and the Usos.
Yeah, great match.
Really fun. And my point before I got off on a tangent and, brain farts and all that, is it's difficult in a concept match to still do something creative, to do something different, to, so many ideas have either been run into the ground or it's hard to find new stuff to do, but they did it, man. They really came up with some interesting stuff. It really played to the characters of the Usos with the Usos penitentiary and everything.
Yeah.
It felt like that's what they were in. It's like that's not Hell in Cell anymore. That's now the Usos penitentiary. And it put, New Day behind the eight ball. That's what it felt like. Like, they're out of their element. This is their element. It was really, really well done.
And the New Day, like we talked about in the past, can kind of, you forget that they're good wrestlers.
They're awesome.
And sometimes because of the entertaining stuff they do. And I think it was good that they used some of these entertaining things like the Francesca 1 and 2 and 3, I guess. And they used the trumpet or trombone or whatever the thing's called, and beat the crap out of them with it, broke them up. Gave more cowbell, and had the rainbow striped kendo stick. I thought those were all good touches to add a little bit of grit to their entertainment based characters. I just thought that it dirtied it up a bit and made them look like they were really there for a fight, and kind of came through in that.
Well, and it kept their characters intact, like the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But I really think Big E, and it was stressed on the commentary, was in like Terminator mode, And if there's going to be a guy that should be, it's him. Because you forget sometimes dude's 300 pounds. He's like 5'10", 300 pounds or whatever he is. He's a freak. Bench like 8,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So it was good that they kept stressing that he was in serious mode, and he was with his work. You could tell, like, he was the one handing off the cowbell and all this stuff, but he was also the one that was like running with people on his shoulders into the cage. And he also took a hellacious bump, and it was a great way they set it up on the shoulders with the tope into the cage. Yeah. Super dangerous bump, super crazy looking. Really good creative stuff. Really enjoyed it. Usos, man, both teams. Hats off to them.
Worked hard. I like the thing in the corner too when they trapped with the kendo sticks when they locked him in the corner. Yeah, those are good little touches.
That got a good reaction too. You could. It was just different. It was just really, really different, and the visual was super cool.
The nitpicking side of me.
Oh, here we go.
No, I'm you know me, I'm a nitpicker. Little things, right?
And some would say that's why you're a dick. Okay.
Yeah, but no, I'm no one taking anything away. But to me, if they when they hung Xavier Woods up in the corner with his arms with the handcuffs.
The handcuffs.
The handcuffs. If they just left him there, and then kind of forgot about him, and he came
And
in
then
to
had
make
Big
up
E
that
come
save. Would add another layer to it there. Would have been great. And that's, like I said, that's a little nitpicking thing, 'cause it still got a great reaction. But if you just left him hanging there with a visual and just kind of panned to it a couple times and then kind of forgot about him, and then when he came in and
then the
that save would have been great.
Question begs to be asked then, or stated, maybe he couldn't
Yeah,
get
that's
out
true.
of it,
Yeah.
That could be the answer to that. It's like
Maybe.
physically it might not have been
Maybe he
possible.
needs
Because
to
I
grow
tell
a
you
couple
what,
inches. Maybe he's shorter in real life.
maybe he should have worn some lifts in those chic boots. But I'll tell you, man, when they put his arms back there, I was like, oh yeah, both of my arms just popped right out of the sockets at that point.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, So great match, really fun, entertaining. Usos are, man, so good right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they've always been good. We've talked about it. We've had them on the show. Great as baby faces, full commitment to whatever they're doing, and that's why whatever they're doing works. But man, right now,
You know what?
You
good
can
for these
tell they're
guys
feeling it,
to get to the point where not only just because they're a tag team, but that they were put into a Hell in a Cell, which is a big deal, and then actually got a lot of time for it.
Yeah.
You know, they really had some time to do some cool things and to tell a pretty good story in there, and it was a good culmination of the months and months long battle for these two teams, and kind of get the hate, you know, tell that story of the hatred they have for each other, and the kind of flopping of the titles back and forth. And I think it was cool too. The Usos won in their element. So,
and just to mention, like the storyline. You know what the storyline is? It's what works best in wrestling. Who wants to be the best?
Yep.
That's what the entire storyline is based on. Who's the best tag team? That's it. That's it. There's no other. Sure, they've had rap battles, things like that, but the whole thing is based on the fact as to, okay, who's better?
Yeah.
That's it.
All I know is they're lucky I'm not there for the rap battle.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Would you do another Peeperoonie too? Well,
Yeah, you never know. That was a pretty damn good Peeperoonie.
Well, I think what people were shocked at is that you actually have rhythm, and you tried to dance badly, but you could tell underneath
It was kind of
you
good.
still have rhythm. It's like, well, he's kind of got rhythm, and it's funny, but he can.
And then I asked the question before. I said, what I want to know is who ordered the pizza with extra Peep-a-Rooney. Hit the music.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what'd you think of Mahal and Nakamura?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was in a tough spot.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of hard. I mean, it's the world title match. It really should be able to follow. Yeah, I think that when it's on a card like that, it's just put in a tough spot when, you know, you have a guy that's still trying to, like we talked about Nakamura before, trying to find his way to what he can be. And he's not quite there yet. We've seen glimpses of it, and I think it was just kind of a tough spot.
Yeah. It's strange with Nakamura, man, because like you said, you've seen him. I've seen his matches with AJ in New Japan and everything, and I just with Randy, I've seen it.
Yeah.
And with Sami, I've seen it. But also too, that match with Sami, man, I really loved that match. And after that, it's like anything else is going to be tough to live up to. So, but I
he had some good matches with Joe too, and I mean he'll get there. It's just, like
maybe
before it's
maybe
a different.
Who knows? It's a different
different
beast entirely, and people can blame it on booking this, that, and the other. I don't know. I think it's weird. It just goes to show how different places to wrestle are completely different environments, and how it can affect. You know.
It'd be still good to see Jinder find different gear as well. You know.
Yes. Yeah, he's still, and some again would argue, well, then he shouldn't be put in the position if he can't find that gear, or if he didn't have that gear in the first place. And a valid point, but we're here now, so you gotta, ride that horse, and hopefully somebody tells him, you got to be able to kick it up into, and we're talking like you're there, you got to be a 12-cylinder Jaguar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't be no 4-banger. You can't be a 6-banger. Hell, you might get by if you're an 8-cylinder, but you got to get that that 12th cylinder, brother.
Yeah, and I mean, you're gonna have people too, like, oh, he doesn't deserve to be there, and you guys have said that to give him a chance, and we gave him a chance, and blah blah blah, the whole thing. But the fact still remains that he's a legit heel.
Legit heel, which there's not many of. And one thing I will say, if you listen to the match, every time he hooks for his finish, you can hear the people go, oh, which is the reaction that you're hoping for when the heel grabs his finish. If there's like that bad feeling in your stomach, that's the desired reaction.
Yeah. And when somebody beats him, it'll mean something.
It will.
When he finally loses that title.
Yes. And if you look at it on paper, bad night for the baby faces, brother. I mean, just a bad night for the baby faces. Pretty much like across the board, right? Except for Randy, young Randleberry. Randleberry held the baby face flag high with an RKO, but beyond that, man. Hey, and also I want to talk Rusev, man.
He's good.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's always been good. Like I really liked him when he first came in. And I was like, well, "Who's this dude?" Oh, because I didn't seen NXT at that point.
Yeah,
he's really, really good. Super talented. Moves well. Yeah, he's good. He's always been good. But
no, I remember seeing him when I was down in the Performance Center when I went down to help out there a little bit, and he was in Billy Gunn's class at the time, who were more kind of advanced guys.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in with them, and I had never seen him in the ring, and they were doing some drills and stuff, and he had intensity then, and the way that he moved, and I remember pulling him aside and said, hey, keep that intensity, that is going to set you apart from the rest of the guys here. And
you know what's, sorry, but you know what's
no, I'm
interesting?
just saying you got to do the things in practice. It's like any sport, perform in practice how you would perform on the field or on the rink, or the same thing with wrestling. Perform when you're training how you would in the ring. Pretend there's a crowd there. And because those habits that you pick up, bad habits that you pick up training, kind of going through the motions, you don't want those to carry over into a performance when you're in front of a live crowd. Practice how you play.
Well, and more so than that, because it's easy to be, intense and all of those things when you're hungry and you haven't made it to the show.
Right.
It's when you make it to the show, maybe booking decisions aren't that great. Maybe you're kind of in limbo. That's the point where you have to maintain that intensity and maintain that in your performance. And, no matter what it is, whatever storyline, whatever it is in the match, you always have to maintain that. And that can be one of the most difficult things.
Yeah. It's like when I want to keep the intensity, when I rake your ass with a belt sander.
My ass, huh?
Yeah.
You are infatuated with my gluteal region. Because you mention it way too much, even without provocation. Like you just, I think you sit there.
I woke up this morning thinking about your ass. I was like, what am I going to do to that ass?
Yeah. And
yeah.
That's odd because you're sleeping with Denise and you wake up thinking about my ass.
Yeah. It happens from time to time.
Bert, you know what I want to do, Bird? I want to take this yerba mate
away here. You're gonna
shut up. I want to fill a syringe full of this blue for you, right?
Yeah.
And then I want to kick out your spindly little legs, and I want to bend them up so that way, like, basically your heels are at your ears. And then I want to tie you down in a chair. I want to peel open your eyelids. Actually, no, wait. I want to take your eyelids. I want to cut them off with a little cap here off the can of yerba mate.
Yeah.
Slice your eyelids off so you have no choice but to keep them open. Then I want to take the syringe full of blue for you and inject it in your eyes.
You know what that would do to me? It would make me pop a couple amino acids. The old school. Yeah, the old school ones that were in.
Yeah.
And then I would just fucking spin around like a Tasmanian devil, like a little human tornado. And
because your legs are bent up still. Yeah.
I'd be spinning like on my torso pretty much. And then I would leg sweep you. I'd sweep the leg like the Karate Kid. And then I would fucking...
How could you leg sweep me if you were bent up? I'm just saying. That doesn't really work. Yeah, so I already found a hole in your game.
All right. I'm done with this.
That's what I thought.
I can't even.
Whatevs.
Yeah.
Are we millennials now?
Yeah. Whatevs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you think about the Heck in a Cell with KO, who's our guest later on today, and Shane O'Mac?
I mean, it's Shane, right? So you know he's going to fall off of something. Yeah. You know it's coming, and what's difficult about that sometimes is that the crowd, they know
Is
that,
waiting for the fall,
so they wait for that sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes you pigeonhole yourself and you trap yourself when you're the guy that falls off of buildings.
Yeah,
they're going to wait for you to fall off the building.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that. I mean, I think that they had them pretty good. It seemed like. I think that they were invested enough. I think the obviously the personal touch on the storyline with the headbutting Vince gave it more than just. Okay, they knew it was coming, but that's not all they were waiting for. It potentially could have been, and I think that helped a lot of the story and the real kind of fight feel that the match had. I just think that really helped out a lot. So kudos on the video package was pretty amazing too. And I mean, WWE production team always does an amazing job with
Panucci.
That. Yeah.
Shout it out to Adam Panucci, an unsung hero of the WWE team. That guy makes people look like stars. I enjoyed it. I did. And I did I've enjoyed the whole storyline and the fact that it, because Kev has always been one that talks about his family. He made it about family. So it was interesting. It was really good. And I want to talk more about this with Kev, but the aspect of the baby face, the perennial baby face turn, is very cool, you know. And I want to save. I want to save some of it for.
Well, we almost turned into Chop Suey again. It's funny that we had talked about Sami Zayn a week or two ago, maybe needing to change some stuff up and maybe, tag team partner type stuff, whatever. But I think it's a good little, I didn't see it coming. So, and when you can shock people that have kind of seen a lot of things or do some stuff that's unexpected, I think that's pretty cool. And I think that it's something that maybe he needs right now, a little injection, brother.
Maybe he needs some of this blue Foria in his eyes.
Yeah. Other than getting on the pod with the Rocket Strappers, it's probably the next best thing that could happen to him.
Which, by the way, we've talked to, he was one of the first people we talked about to have on the show, but we've also talked about having an Anatomy of a Match with him and some folks. So it's, we'll figure it out, man.
Yeah. My only thing with the Hell in a Cells too is, I don't know. I understand why you got to do it, but to me too, it's almost like it takes away from the Hell in the Cell when you get out of it all the time.
Agree.
I don't know, maybe they have to change something up, whether they make a little hatch or something at the top where, guys can go up there if they want, but the only place you can go is up top. Hatch. You know what I mean? Instead of, why is there always cutters around to cut through?
I know, it's just the word hatch pop.
No.
I don't know.
Even there's an opening at the top of the cell or something where, hey, you can get up there if you want, but if you get up there, maybe there's a barricade around it, but there's a couple openings on each side where it's just like, hey, if you chuck a guy off, he goes, it's, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I understand why you have to do it. I get it, but it's also, it kind of takes away from the cell because the whole thing is you want to get the person in there because you don't want them to get away from you. But yet, I don't know.
You know how it works is if the heel wants to get out.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to get stuck, and then it works because otherwise, again, it's like, okay, then why are they having a Hell in a Cell if everybody's just going to fight out of it? So I think that's a booking team decision or whoever, just like, okay, that's it. It stays in and it doesn't get out if only for very, 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 very special occasions.
I said put a little hole or something in the top, and it's obviously more dangerous to be on top than it is to be in there. I don't know.
Oh, so how about this? War Games.
Yeah.
Which is essentially, it's been announced that NXT is doing it in November. I think it's around Survivor Series time, which is essentially a month from now, where we've just seen 2 Hell in a Cells, and you essentially have a version. Well, it was around before Hell in a Cell, but is it 2 rings? Is it the double cage? I don't know. But I'm interested to see exactly what it is. But War Games, brother, it's back in somewhat dusty roads. Is looking down saying, oh, yeah, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, I always like the name War Games is cool, too, right?
War Games.
Match.
Hey, quick Dusty Rhodes birthday.
The match beyond ignites.
October 12th. And we got something lined up for next week to commemorate that.
Yep. I'm not going to tell you
Just
what
throwing
it is
that
yet.
out there right now.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out.
I think it's going to be that you dress up like Dusty and speak like Dusty and do Dusty promos the entire podcast.
Oh man, I would totally do that.
Yeah,
I would totally do that, and I could do all the incarnations. Dusty, I could do 70s Dusty with the floppy hat and the boas and stuff. I could do that, and then I could segue into like Bunkhouse Stampede Dusty. And then I could take it to, Son of a Plumber, American Dream, WWE, Polka Dot Dusty, and then take it back to basically Cowboy Dusty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do it all.
I've been told that, Jay.
Well, that leaves a little to be desired. Hey, before we get to KO, we've neglected some of the hosers leaving voicemails. Maybe we should get Matt off his ass. And I don't want to slap Matt's ass, but I would like him to get off his ass and maybe play some voicemails. Can we do that this week?
You got it. Let's do it. I'm off my ass.
You got it.
You got it. I didn't have my yerba mate.
No kidding.
Yeah, no.
Shit.
Low energy.
What do we got?
Here we go.
Hey, Edge and Christian. If you two got into a real fight with each other, who would win?
Well, clearly we've talked about this. And today, if there is an answer to that question, clearly it would be me. As I inject Blueforia, yerba mate, guayaki into Christian's eye veins.
Yeah.
So today, me. But on any given day, it can change. One day he finds his range. He makes my head feel strange.
Yeah.
Some days I get my ground and pound on, and it just generally it's going to be me.
I think that maybe I win the ones that count.
Yeah.
When more's than line. We've probably been in legit 2 real fights in our life. Because we've talked about it. We're like brothers, right? Brothers fight all the time.
Oh, I thought you were saying because I know having to bounce and stuff, been a lot more than that. But you're talking like us fighting.
Yeah, you and
Yes.
I against each other. And
Yeah,
I don't remember.
yeah.
One time we got in a fight walking to school, and
It wasn't walking. Are you talking the one where you went to hoof you and you turned around?
nope, not that one.
Okay, that was like an alley going back to my place.
Yeah, and you kicked me in the nuts. Yeah. That wasn't a fight. You were just trying to kick me in the ass, and I turned around and you ended up kicking me right in the nuts.
It swelled your balls.
Yeah, one of my balls swelled up. Wasn't fun.
There's only one, too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it hurt like hell. We got in a fight walking to school for some reason. I think for some reason you tripped me, and I got like a grass stain on my knee, and it was like the morning, so I had to walk around all day in school with like grass stain on my pant. And for whatever reason, that's a big deal. So you and I, we never really threw punches. We always just kind of like wrestled, and we ended up wrestling on the ground. We both ended up getting dirty, and then we're just like, why'd you trip me? You're like, oh, I didn't mean to. And then we were okay, and we just like kept walking to school after we just like.
I have no
stretched our
recollection
shirts
of that.
out, and we're sweaty and dirty, and now we have to go to school all day. And the other time was when we were living together in college. Something happened, and we were going at it in the house, and somehow we spilled over some furniture onto the floor, and then the other people pulled us apart. And I got
wait, was it by that little pool table that we had?
Yeah, we had a mini pool table that was sitting on top of a kitchen table, and we had pool tournaments, mini pool tournaments. I don't remember how the fight started, but we started going over furniture. I know we spilled over a chair. Like I said, we never really threw punches. We just kind of like wrestled and like rubbed forearms into each other's face and like elbows in the throat. And stuff
it was like
that.
the unwritten rule. Like, okay,
don't hit in the face.
Yeah, we just won't punch each other.
And we got a big pull apart, and we yelled at each other, said some mean things about each other, and I left, and it was the dead of winter, and I was walking through this park, and then as I got to the other side of the park, you were sitting there in your old Volkswagen Jetta.
Yeah, 87 diesel.
And you're like, where are you going? And I was like, what do you care? And I started walking, and you're like following me down the street in the car as I'm walking. And then you're like, just get in the car, just get in the car.
It's like a John Cusack movie.
Yeah. And I finally got in the car, and we just, I don't know what we did. We made up or something. I don't think we
Ghetto
kissed or
Blaster,
anything,
and I was playing The Cure or something.
Yeah. I don't think it was Friday I'm in Love, but it might have been something else.
The Smiths or something, equally melancholy. Yeah. So I think I'm going to take a stab as to why that happened. Sega Genesis 94 hockey.
Probably had something to do with
NHL
that.
94.
Probably
guessing.
did.
Yeah.
And we each remember we could make a player in the NHL 95. Was it 94 or 95?
I thought it was 94.
It might have been 95 because I think it was a year ahead of what it was. But
sure,
we each decided to put a dead rock star or musician on our team. And I was Los Angeles, and I made Sammy Davis Jr. He was a player on my team, and you had I can't remember who you had. Maybe Kurt Cobain, maybe.
Yeah. I went with whoever the year before, right?
Yeah, and our friend John Posavac, the one man Posavac, John. He had Keith Richards, who wasn't. It was not dead, but he had him on there, and every time he touched the puck, he would do the impression. He'd go like, no, I remember that. It's so stupid. Somebody had Jim Morrison, too.
Oh, that was Nick.
Okay.
Nick.
So,
Nick had Jim Morrison.
But anyway, I digress.
Yep.
So, so getting back to the original question, I think the answer is me. Next one.
Ass infatuation. Okay.
All right, hey guys, it's Big Daddy again. I just called and got tongue-tied, didn't know what the fuck I was saying. My question was, Edge, what is your favorite match of Christians, and Christian, what is your favorite match of Edge's? Thank you. Hopefully you'll answer. And I'd like you to refer to me as Big Daddy when you answer. Thank you.
So
he's asking for his handle to be shouted out.
He knows the strappers can get Big Daddy over,
right?
So he's looking. Big Daddy's looking to get that handle. Maybe
Big Daddy's got to realize there's already been a couple of Big Daddies though.
Yeah.
So
my Big Daddies go all the way back to Big Daddy Kane.
Ooh, I was thinking Big Daddy over in England. What was his name?
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
or Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
Yeah.
Big Daddy Kane. Wow, good shout out there, bud. What was the question again? Big Daddy. Favorite. Okay.
Good question, actually.
It is a great question. I'm gonna sprout a few little seeds here because I loved your series of matches with Regal, and they're very kind of under the radar matches, but I just really remember enjoying them. Just because they're so different, and Regal's matches are always different, but your guys' styles just really meshed well. If I gotta just pick one, I mean, it's tough to go against the series with Randy, and it's tough to go against that SummerSlam one with Randy, or where you won the title against Alberto.
Yeah,
for the it's tough to. I can't just say one, but those two matches in particular were probably the two that I think of. But I really enjoyed your series with Regal. There's a bunch. I mean,
I thought you were the shits. So
yeah.
I'm really like lying. No, I'm just kidding. So I think for me, it's pretty obvious that
because I don't know.
Well, no, you got the same thing. You've had a lot of great matches. Honestly, like you could pick the Hell in a Cell match where it came down to you and Ray. That was unbelievable.
But wait, what was that? Oh, the Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And I just think I have Hell in a Cell on the brain, brother. There's a lot of great matches that you can think of. Your series with Cena, the TLC match you had with him. But I think the one for me, and I think it's also because of the significance of the moment, was the main event against Taker at WrestleMania. And the one thing I really liked that you did in that match was you didn't go for the submission until the finish with the Hell's Gate. And I almost forgot that he did it until the very finish. And I remember you called me not long after the match was over and said, what did you think? And I told you that was the thing that stood out to me, that I almost forgot that he did the submission until the finish. And I liked that it wasn't teased, but some other things were. So that was, for me, I think, my favorite match of yours.
Well, thank you. That submission was actually kind of the nucleus for the entire feud, actually, from that point forward. But which is, why I kind of placed it there. Yeah. But well, that's a very good question, Big Daddy.
Yeah, Big Daddy.
All right, I'm with Edge and Christian here, and I'm going to tell him a joke. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Why should you never go to the gas station with Daniel Bryan? Huh? 'Cause he carries matches. What do you think about that, Christian? It was good, brother. How about you, Edge? How do you find that? Oh, that's the funniest joke I ever heard. Mark Mania.
He's getting everything in, huh?
He got it all in there. He got Mock Mania in, which reminds me, I really wish I had been at Hell in a Cell this week to get Shane when he was.
You know what would have been the best? You know what would have been the best? If you had Iggy'd Owens, and if you could have mocked him during the match.
Oh, my God. Or Sami. Oh, my gosh. That would have been the ultimate.
Yeah.
Shit. So, I don't know what happened there. I think it needs to be work done on the impersonations of us. I don't think I laugh like that. If you're going to get a hearty guffaw, if you're going to get mine, it has to sound like you have emphysema, or you're an 84-year-old two-pack-a-day smoker. I don't smoke, but I sound like that when I laugh really hard. Don't know why. That's my only critique there.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was
a good joke though.
Yeah, it was a pretty funny little joke. I mean,
it's cute.
I was thinking it was going to go something with yeses or something, but yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Not so much the aftermath, but hey,
yeah,
you tried,
man. Cut it there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Get out on the joke, because you kind of took away from the,
take it home.
Do that stuff before you tell the joke.
Exactly.
Forget about the
it's
punchline.
Like you don't fall off the Hell in a Cell and then do a snapmare.
It's like a good promo, right? Sometimes you just got to say your piece and get out. Sometimes more isn't better. Just get to the point.
All right. What do we got?
You guys want one more?
Yeah, fuck it. Do one more.
All right.
One more.
Yeah. I'm looking for the E&C podcast. This is The Rock, and I've got a bit of a bone to pick with the so-called E&C podcast. E&C more like stands for the embarrassing and irritating podcast of flatulence. Because I'm telling you right now, every time The Rock has to listen to your Rudy Poo podcast, he has to take a whole bottle of Pepto and a bottle of Gas-X, or he turns into an upside-down volcano. And trust me, The Rock has seen it volcano. Fuck myself.
Did he just stop himself because he realized how bad it was? Is that what just happened there?
I think he lost track, or he
lost his line.
Yeah,
and then hung up.
Yeah. Brutal impression. It was terrible.
Horrible.
Yeah, I actually thought he was doing Austin at first.
So did I. Especially when he said Pepto-Bismol. I don't know what to...
He didn't commit either way. I mean...
No. If you're going to do it. And you know what he realized? He realized halfway through he just shit his bed, and then he's got to make it over the shit. And what do I do now? Now I got a big log in my bed, and I got to sleep in it again tonight.
Yeah, and he thinks our podcast sucks. You know what? Join the club, dude. Come on. So, yeah, it was terrible.
But at least you called.
I'll give you an F for effort.
Which would be FERT.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
which is what that was, a fart in
and
church.
it's like we talk about with because your Dusty impressions have gotten so much better, right? Like when you
That's
first
right,
did it,
baby.
you were a little tentative. It's the same kind of thing here. If you're not going to commit, it's just not going to work. And I didn't believe it.
Baby, if you're going to put that elbow pad on, you got to throw that bionic elbow.
Baby. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You sucked.
On that note,
Yeah.
I would say it's probably time to get to our guest. My get.
Yep. I'm going to give this one to you.
Well, you have no choice. You had nothing to do with this.
I didn't. But, fresh off Hell in Cell, it's Kevin Owens. Let's talk to him. Here we go.
How you doing?
I'm good. I pretty sore, but I'm still alive, so that's a good thing.
Are you nervous talking with us?
No, I'm pretty excited. I'm glad you guys asked me to do this.
You sound laid back. I like the mood we got already. Yeah. I think there's
I'm enthusiastic.
There's good charisma here. I feel it between us. There's a good vibe gelling already. Because hey, let's face it, we're Canadian, and
it was just Canadian Thanksgiving last week.
That's true. I missed it, of course, as I do every year.
No, I was saying I actually forgot this year that it was Canadian Thanksgiving. I haven't celebrated one in like since 2001, so like 16 years.
16 years.
Yeah,
close.
So actually probably longer because I was probably on the road. So it might have been 20 years. Who knows?
Yeah, I had no idea it was either until my wife told me that her family was having a big dinner. I'm like, why?
What's going on?
I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
It is the difference between like American Thanksgiving. You can't forget it. They don't give you a choice. I say they.
Yeah, it's a much bigger deal here, so we're probably going to celebrate the American one.
Yeah.
So you said you're sore. And it stands to reason. How do you think Shane's feeling?
I'm not sure. He makes bad decisions all the time, though. So he's probably used to feeling however he's feeling right now.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts of this whole storyline. I mean, I've really enjoyed the storyline with you guys. Jay and I talked about it beforehand. How you guys made it personal by bringing family in and pulling that aspect of it into it. But one of my favorite parts, it was during when he was reffing, and you said you fall out of helicopters, and that kept you down.
Yeah, a little 450 splash from AJ Styles, and that's all it needs. That's maybe it's like his. I guess that's like his kryptonite now. You know what I mean?
His 450s.
Everybody's got a weakness. His is getting hit in the side with a knee from a guy that's rotating at a fast rate of speed.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Damn right I will go ahead, Jay, because I really enjoyed the series with AJ. Really loved the setup with you and Shane. But I mean, you got to know this. The deal with Vince, when you're out there, and we'll talk about all kinds of other stuff, but that's that and the Hell in the Cellar, kind of the initial things, right? So that headbutt. I know he said something to you right before. And I can imagine the kind of stuff that he was saying. And, but you have to feel at that point, like, okay, I'm about to enter a different stratosphere within this industry. Like, you got to know how big that is. Did it feel different, or did it just feel like, okay, it's about time?
Well, actually, you and I kind of had not a conversation about this a long time ago, but you saw one of our matches me and Sami had, and you messaged us about, when you guys put stuff like that out there, there's no, it's just a matter of time. You can't be denied. Remember, I remember you messaging us that, and it meant a lot.
It was Chicago.
It was. I think you messaged us after the second one, which was in Washington.
Oh, okay.
The point is that you had seen both, and you told us when you guys put out that kind of stuff, there's no way they're going to deny you. You can't be denied. It's just a matter of time, and that was really meaningful because we were both kind of thinking, what else do we need to do to move on to that next level? And then a month later, through coincidences and, people getting hurt and stuff like that, things got reshuffled. And, a month later I was the Universal Champion. I remember you messaged me and like, wow, that took even less time than I thought. So, to me, I thought that was it. I'm like, all right, I'm the Universal Champion. So clearly this was just going to solidify me as a top guy that I've always wanted to be. But I don't think it really did. It turned out, it didn't turn out to be what I was hoping. It didn't turn out to be this thing that would make me a top guy the way I felt it would. You know what I mean? So, then the whole, storyline with Jericho helped me, get near where I needed to go. But then I felt like I kind of hit a little, I kind of plateaued in a way.
Yep.
You said you enjoyed the series of matches with AJ, and I'm glad you did, and I'm hopefully, a lot of people did as well, but I don't know if I did. I don't know if I can say that I did, to be honest. I don't know if I was putting out my best stuff at the time, and then, once that ended and I transitioned into the thing with Shane, I did feel like, oh man, working with Shane is a big deal. And then Vince, throwing himself into the mix, I knew that that's as big as it gets. Not that many people get to do that with Vince, especially nowadays. If you look in the last 5-6 years, there hasn't been that many people who got to, physically assault Vince in the way that I did. So obviously, I knew that was a big deal, and I did think maybe this is what I've been waiting for. And so far, it feels like that was it. I feel like things have kind of taken a new. I've been taken to a new level for me since that happened, and I'm going to try to run with it as good as I can.
Well, it's one of the and we were just talking about it to open this show. The one of the keys to longevity within the WWE, let alone the industry, is when maybe you're not in the best storyline, maybe you don't necessarily agree with the writing decisions, the booking decisions, whatever it is, maintaining the intensity, even when those times aren't necessarily, quote unquote good, and making sure that no matter what, every night you bring it. And that's why when I saw, you and Sami in those matches you guys were having, I was like, man, okay, they got these guys in the middle of the card, but they don't care, and that's not a bad thing to be in the middle of the card. You're on the card, but you guys were having matches that I knew people were going to have to sit up and take notice. And when I see that, I always got to go, okay, these guys might need to know that, because I know sometimes back there you don't hear it. You just get back and people say, hey, great match, and it's on to the next. But now, being where we are, retired and everything, we can sit back and see that stuff and understand what it's like there and go, hey, man, that deserves some props that they might not be getting. So, it's I'm happy to see that. Like I said, when I saw the thing with Vince, I was like, okay, he's hitting another level now, and they're going to give him an opportunity to hit that next level, because nobody, especially nowadays, since the days of Austin and DX and things like that, nobody headbutts Vince in the face and gets like color on him,
Yeah, man. It felt like a huge deal, and at the time, like even doing it, I was. I knew something was going to happen with Vince for a couple of days beforehand. I wasn't sure what it was exactly until we ironed out everything that day. But when it happened, when I actually went through with it, it was just so surreal. That's the thing about me, and I've said this in interviews and stuff like that, and I've told a lot of people that I never stopped being a fan of WWE. And I've been a huge fan since I was 11 years old, and that never stopped. Like, even when I started on Raw. Not even when I started on Raw. I remember my first night in NXT. I was the first match on that show, on the Takeover special. Yeah. So I was right by the little gorilla position they have at the Full Sail University thing, and there's a TV right there that plays the show live, obviously, and the opening graphics with the then, now, forever, and all the faces that flash, like Cena and you guys and Shawn and Brett and Taker and all those guys, like, as the WWE logo, comes into frame. I was watching that, and then the next thing is as soon as that intro ends, it goes into the video package for the show, and the first face I saw was me. And I got insane goosebumps, because to me, I remember saying, like, holy shit, this is actually happening. You know what I mean? I was like, it's been 15 years. I was 11 years old when I started hoping this would happen one day. And then the same thing happened when I showed up on Raw for, to do the thing with Cena. I remember after it happened that night, I went back to my hotel and I walked into the elevator. And the elevator was just like, the walls were mirrors. And I just walked up to the wall, and as my elevator was going down, I was just staring at myself in the mirror thinking, I can't believe this is actually happening.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
So I've never lost that. I'm still a fan. Like, people will come around, like Shawn Michaels will come to to TV once in a while, and he's the reason I decided I was going to be a wrestler in the first place after seeing one of his matches. So anytime Shawn's around, like, man, I get to talk to him. We get to talk about the business. We get to talk about family and life, and it just blows my mind. I'm still just such a fan. So to get to do that with Vince McMahon, forget about it. It was incredible. It's just something I'll never, a moment in my career that I'll never forget, for sure.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Shawn came back in a few years ago and did, he was working some live event loops and stuff like that. And, Adam and I had gone and kind of found a little quiet, small locker room somewhere. We were just hanging out in there, and all of a sudden we see Shawn's head peek in, and then he leaves, and he comes back with all his bags and stuff, and he comes in and he goes, "Oh, I was looking for you guys. He's like, I just want to come and hang out with you guys. I always get a laugh and have good conversation, you guys. So I just want to hang out with you guys." That's like the coolest thing ever, right? Like, same thing. Like, you idolize Shawn Michaels. All of a sudden, he's like your peer and wants to hang out with you and talk about family and life and have some laughs and just goofy stuff. And it's pretty cool. But another thing that impressed me with you is obviously, we've talked about this on this podcast as well a lot in the past, as far as you can be so good in the ring, but sometimes that isn't enough. You need kind of the full package to kind of really take off and to set yourself apart, and that goes with a lot with the character and the promos in the ring and stuff like that, and having the confidence in yourself to kind of step out and say some things and do some things that might necessarily be written on a piece of paper. And I remember you and I had a conversation when you first got to the Performance Center, and you were kind of a little unsure as far as certain things, and people telling you certain things, and I don't want to go too far in depth with it, but I told you, I said, "Hey man," I said, "you got here for a reason. There was something that you were doing that got you here. Do that and do it to its fullest until they tell you not to do it."
Yeah, I remember very well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it seems to me like you very much do that. I'm not saying that it was me or anything like that, but that they gave you the confidence. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is
you're saying it was you. You're saying it was you.
I really just want to take I want to take all the credit for it. But no, it just seems to me that you very much do that in your promos and your matches and things like that. Like, you just throw things against the wall, and you have no fear sometimes of the things that you say and you do. Is that a correct assessment?
Yeah, I mean, you say you don't want to take too much credit, but you do deserve credit for that, because when I got to the Performance Center, I wasn't sure. So I knew who I was. I've known who I've been as a performer for a long time, but I wasn't sure when I got to the Performance Center if that's what they wanted me to be. All I know is William Regal came to a PWG show in California, saw me wrestle, and I was offered a tryout, and that whole process took a little while, like a couple months. I was under contract with Ring of Honor at the time, so I couldn't, it couldn't happen as fast as I wish it could have, obviously, but Ring of Honor let me do the tryout. I did the tryout, and they told me pretty much right then and there, not that I was going to get signed, but they kind of just said, "Hey, you might want to look into the logistics of moving your family to Florida, because you did well, and we still have some things to iron out, but it looks like you might be offered a contract." So they were very cautious not to make any promises.
Right.
But they kind of gave me the Iggy that you might want to start looking into it. So I left the Performance Center thinking, oh man, this is actually going to happen. And then 2 months went by where I didn't hear from them. I mean, not that I didn't hear. I was in touch with Canyon Seaman, who takes care of that stuff, and it was just still like, okay, yeah, it's WrestleMania season. Obviously, a lot of people are busy. We're going to get back to you soon. And then it took 2 months. Finally, they called me and said, okay, we're going to sign you. So, I got to the Performance Center, you know, a couple months later, and I still wasn't sure who they wanted me to be in a way, because I did the tryouts, you know, I cut the promo the way I talk. I didn't try to be anybody different when I was cutting the promo. And as far as like, I did a little match there, and I wrestled the match my way, you know, except, for some reason they had me, you know, at the time I was always pretty much a heel, and they had me work as a baby face, so that kind of felt weird. So even in the match, I wasn't like, you know, I wrestled my own style, but I wasn't being myself. And I had like, you know, this is WWE in my head, so I'm like, I can't go in my shorts and my cut off t-shirt. So I had like a nice singlet made, and I wrestled in the singlet, which was completely not me at that time, because I wrestled in a singlet, you know, 15 years ago or 10 years ago, whatever it was, 12 years ago, on the independents. But, you know, then eventually I transitioned into the more like street fight looking gear, and that was definitely more me. But, you know, in my head, I was like, I can't wrestle in WWE and in, you know, street fight looking gear. So, you know, I wasn't sure which part of the tryout they'd like. If it was the promo, which was totally me, or if they were like, no, you know, the way he wrestled that. So I was like, you know, my mind was just kind of playing tricks on me, because nobody's telling me anything concrete, and everybody has opinions. You know, everybody at the Performance Center is trying to help you in their own way, and they give you their opinion on what they think should work or what they think you should do. And then, you know, we would have these little shows at the Performance Center in front of the other, you know, the other wrestlers and the coaches and stuff like that. And that's when you and I talked the night before one of those shows, and you kind of told me, look, you just got to be you. And that resonated with me. And then over time, I got to know Dusty Rhodes better. You know, and Dusty and I got closer and closer, and Dusty echoed the same thing. So that definitely went a long way into me getting the confidence to just be me. And it's exactly like you said, you know, if you go too far, they'll pull you back. But you don't want to,
go far enough. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be too hesitant and then not give everything you could give, because then you might be holding back something that they could love.
Yeah, I always said that I'd rather have the conversation of, hey, we need you to pull back, rather than have the conversation like, hey, we need more.
Absolutely.
You know? Well, because here's the thing, they're probably not going to tell you we need more.
Right.
You're not going to have that conversation. You're just going to go,
they're just going to wonder why aren't we getting more out of this guy? Yeah.
Yep. And then 10 years down the road, you're going to be like, I wonder what I did wrong, or what didn't, you know? So, you know, when you talk about your promos, here's what I love about your promos. They don't sound like promos. They sound like a dude having a conversation. Like, you don't worry about it sounding, it doesn't sound contrived. It doesn't sound scripted. It just sounds like, if I ran into you, that's the way you would sound. And that's what I really like. It sounds so different because of that. It sounds conversational, even when you're cutting someone down or your backstage stuff. Even with awkward setups from, like, you know, the interviewer backstage, your stuff doesn't. And that actually highlights it more, because I'm sure they're scripted and have to say a certain thing. But when you start talking, it's like, oh, okay, well, he sounds natural. Is that, you know, do you think about that, or you just kind of do your thing?
Well, I feel like that was always one of my strengths, even when I was on the independents before I came to WWE. So I just kind of kept that going. But it was always, you know, I've always been conscious of that, not trying to sound like I'm, you know, reading from a script, or not trying to sound like I've obviously rehearsed this and I know exactly what I'm saying. But part of that is also, I try not to learn everything word for word, and I try to really, because obviously, you know, every promo we do, there's a reason for it, and there's a goal, and there's something to achieve in that promo, and something that's very important to communicate. So you do have to learn, at the very least, you have to learn the reason for the promo, and make sure you deliver that, because that's, you know, that's important to the story you're telling. So right. I make sure that I know where I'm going, but I don't want to learn everything by heart, because then I feel like it's very hard not to sound like it's rehearsed. Yeah. But a lot of the credit for that goes to Dusty Rhodes again, because, I mean, that was always his thing. You don't want to, so we would call his class at the Performance Center we call it promo class, but that's not what he called it. He called it communication skills. Because to him, you're not cutting a promo, you're communicating.
Yeah.
And, sometimes he would have us, sometimes he would have us cut promos, if you want to call it that, without saying a word. He was just saying, can you communicate this without talking? And that's, you know what I mean? Or like sometimes he would just change the setup. Usually it was just a bunch of chairs in front of a black curtain, by one of the rings, and we'd go up and we'd cut the promo in front of the black curtain to the audience, which was, 10, 15, 20 other wrestlers from the Performance Center. But then sometimes we'd come in for class and there would be no black curtain. Now he would be cutting a promo in the ring as if we were on Raw or SmackDown. And, he would have us walk around the ring, and he would tell us, like, the ring is your canvas. You don't have to stand in the middle. You can go there. You can go here. You can walk there. You just, as long as you're aware of where the camera is, you can go anywhere within this frame to make it your own. And, he had all these tricks. To him, it was very important that a promo doesn't sound like a promo. So that really helped me as well. I only got to work with Dusty for 10 months. Between the time I showed up at the Performance Center and then the time I got called up on the road, and then, about a month later, he passed away. But, man, the time I had with Dusty is invaluable, and I'm so thankful for it. I was fortunate to learn from a lot of people throughout my career, but nobody made as much of an impact in such a short time on me as Dusty did. So a lot of the credit for that, for the promos, goes to him for sure.
Well, as a quick aside, this will drop on a Friday, and October 12th is Dusty's birthday. So happy birthday to Big Dust. And I always do a bad Dusty impersonation on the show because I love Dusty. And it's pretty much every week I try it. And it's gotten a little better. It's gotten a little better. But, we hear that a lot especially with a lot of the people that went through NXT, is that their interactions with Dusty really made a massive difference. And I mean, if you're smart, how can it not? How can you not sit under that dude's tree?
I don't know who could say that being around Dusty didn't help them. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, it's like you said, it's kind of on them for not being smart enough to learn from that. You know who's got an incredible Dusty impersonation, by the way, is Dean Ambrose.
Oh, really?
It's unbelievable. Like when he obviously now he's on Raw and I'm on SmackDown, so I'm not around him much. And then before that, he was on SmackDown and I was on Raw, so I haven't been around him in, almost a year and a half, 2 years maybe. But anytime he would bust it out when we were on the same brand, it would actually, no joke, make me feel like if you close your eyes, you feel like you're in the room with Dusty. The way he's talking, and I swear it was. I never told Dean this because he probably would have thought it was really weird. But when he would do the Dusty impersonation, it made me feel great because I felt like it was a little bit of Dusty, like it's weird, but man, he's so good. If you guys get him on the podcast, you should have him do it.
I would not have pegged that at all. Yeah.
It's really good. It's not just the voice; it's the way he speaks and even the stories he tells. Like obviously, he was around Dusty for a lot, So he's got the stories down and everything. It's absolutely fantastic. I like Dean a lot, but it's definitely my favorite thing about him is his Dusty impersonation.
I would like to hear your Dusty impression.
I don't have one. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't have one. Like Big Cass tries, Sami Zayn's tried, and I just never dared to even try. I don't have one. I'm no good at that. Yeah. I don't even try. I don't try things I won't be good at.
Good call.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Sami, and we gotta talk about, because again we're recording this before SmackDown, so we don't know what happens tonight and the fallout of the whole Sami Zayn thing. But I'm guessing if people listen to this podcast, they know your history, but let's just give them a brief synopsis of everything that you guys have been through over the years.
Right. Well, we met in, I want to say 2002. When I started training for wrestling back home, I was training with Jacques Rougeau, who's known in WWE as the Mountie, and then later on, as part of the Quebecers. And before the Mountie, he was with the fabulous Rougeau brothers with Ray. Mm-hmm. And Jacques wasn't, Jacques and I didn't mesh well. So I trained with him for a couple of years. And the way he would run his company, because he also had a wrestling promotion, he would train people at his school, and then he would put on shows once every 3-4 months in big arenas around Quebec, like, with crowds of like 2,000 people that would come to the shows, which obviously, for an independent wrestling company is pretty good, especially at the time in, 2000.
Sure.
And especially back home in Quebec, like no wrestling, no indie promotion was drawing anything near that. So Jacques felt like because he's putting 2,000-3,000 people in the buildings because of the name value that he had, the Rougeau name carries weight in Quebec, or at least did at the time, in wrestling. He didn't want any of the guys that trained for him and wrestled on his shows to go wrestle anywhere else. So, I couldn't work every week to learn and get experience. I had to stay. And, every 4 months I'd get to do one match in front of people. And the rest of the time I would just train, 2-3 times a week. And I would basically rehearse the match that I'm going to do at that big show. I'm going to rehearse that match for months and months on end. So we weren't learning how to work. We weren't learning, we weren't getting the experience we needed. We were just kind of, going through the motions for the way Jacques wanted to do things. But I had no experience, so I had no idea that was the case at the time. In my mind, I was like, okay, this is what I need to do in order to get to WWE one day. But then with time, some of the guys he was training decided to leave and go elsewhere and start exploring what was out there in the independent scene in Montreal. And a lot of those guys ended up in a wrestling promotion called IWS, which was doing shows every month at a bar. But, they had 200 people there. But, man, the atmosphere was great. Everybody that was there to see wrestling and, have fun.
Did I do one of those shows?
Yeah, you did actually.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, you came in. By the time you came in, it was kind of. I think it was like 2008 maybe. So it had kind of morphed into something else. But at the time when I went there, it was just part of it. It was just in a very small bar, so they didn't draw that many people. But man, it was a great atmosphere, and it felt like to me like that's what I wanted. The Rougeau shows, it's nice in front of 2,000 people, but the way they react, it feels like there's less people in the building than those 200 crazy people in that bar, and I felt like wrestling every month, every week is what I needed to do to gain experience at the time.
Sure.
And so I went to the IWS show to see the guys that I trained with wrestle, and that's when I met Sami Zayn, because he was wrestling there. He had trained, in somebody's backyard, and he started setting up rings left and right for various independent promotions to try to get booked. And, he started wrestling there, and that's how we met. Eventually, I ended up leaving Rougeau's company or whatever because we just didn't get along. It was time for me to go. And once I did that, I started wrestling every single week, everywhere I could. And everywhere I would go, Sami Zayn was there too, because he was already wrestling all over the place, And then, so we kind of got to know each other there. And then in 2003, 2004, we started wrestling in the U.S. Our name from the IWS, like the IWS name started kind of getting around the U.S. independents, and they wanted IWS guys. And every time they would book IWS guys, it would turn out that they would book me and Sami together because obviously they needed more than one guy because we had to drive a long distance. So, they would pair us up, and it was always me and him. It wasn't like we chose consciously to go everywhere together. It just kind of happened that way.
Yeah.
So obviously we got pretty close because we really had no choice. We started traveling the world together in 2004. And,
let's be honest, though. The only way you could truly be friends with Sami is if you're forced into it.
That seems to be the consensus, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I say that a lot. We're more like brothers and friends because you don't choose your relatives. You're born into a family.
Yeah.
I didn't choose to be friends with Sami, but it just kind of happened that way. We had to be friends, and we traveled. Like I said, we traveled the world together until 2012 when he got signed to WWE, and I didn't. And that was kind of the first time we were apart in our careers. So, but from we've been our careers were linked since 2003.
So you're saying that he was signed before you. Was there any extra motivation there? Was there obviously, I think when you're talking about being more like brothers than friends, there's obviously you're happy for him, but was there ever any thoughts of, man, am I going to get a shot, or was it just like you were just simply just happy for him?
I was really happy for him, but it was really hard. I remember that night, TWG was his last independent that he did, where I was as well. He had I think he had one more independent show the next week. But this TWG was the last time, we actually ended up, doing a tag team tournament together. So we had 3 matches as a team and everything. And then, he had the big farewell that cause everybody knew he was leaving. And, man, that was a really hard night for a couple of reasons. Obviously I was losing the guy I travel up and down the road with. And, I shared my frustrations and my positive moments within the industry for 12 years and stuff. So that was rough. But then, the thought of not knowing whether or not this would happen for me was also rough because at the time I was signed to Ring of Honor, and when he got signed, I still had a year and a half left on my contract. And, this is nothing against Ring of Honor, but I never dreamed of being in Ring of Honor. I always dreamed of being in WWE. So when I saw him get that opportunity, and at the time, WWE hadn't reached out to me at all. They had never made contact. I had never spoken to anybody. So I didn't know if they were even interested in me or ever would be interested in me, or I didn't know if I would even get to be in the position to get that opportunity. But just the fact that he got that opportunity, then capitalized on it and was getting signed, but I couldn't even try. I couldn't even reach out to them and see if I could get a tryout because I was under contract for another year and a half, which felt like a lifetime to me at that point, It was really rough because I was like, man, so now I'm going to have to do indies for at least another year and a half. And at the time, the independent scene was very good to me. And, I got to a point where it took a while, obviously, but I got to a point where I was making a pretty comfortable living just doing independent shows and, selling merch. And I was taking care of my family pretty well just through the independents. And I had so many friends on the independent scene, so many, promotions that I became close with the promoters because they would bring me in every month, and I really enjoyed working for them and everything. So it was a positive experience. But, at one point you just kind of reach a point where you're just kind of ready to move on. And I was ready to move on big time from the independents, just from the grind of carrying your merch everywhere and putting it out before the shows and having to sell it yourself, and then still having to wrestle, and then running back out at intermission to try to sell some more merchandise, and just the grind of, and sometimes not knowing where you're going to sleep that night because the promoter didn't get you the hotel room, or, you get picked up by some dude in his, tiny car, and you're crammed in for 5 hours, just the way the independents work out. I did it for a long time. Yeah, I was ready to move on. I was ready to go.
And it's a different
WWE,
too,
which is where I always wanted to get to. So to see Sami go and get that opportunity and not know if I would ever get it, it was hard for sure. And, it did motivate me. I remember watching at the time NXT would air on TV in Canada on Sportsnet, which is the same channel that Raw and SmackDown were playing. Yeah. So I'd see NXT every week, and I'd see Sami on NXT, and not just Sami, I'd see Neville, and I'd see guys that, Cassius Ohno. I'd see guys that I came up with, that I wrestled with for years, and they were all there, and I wasn't. I was sitting on my couch at home, and it was very frustrating.
Let me ask a question, too. You're saying before how you got to a point on indie wrestling where you were able to support your family. You put it out there a lot, how much you enjoy being a father and how much your family time means to you and those sorts of things. Was there ever any, before you said you were making a comfortable living, was there any kind of like, oh man, I don't know how much longer I can do this with, a wife and child and these, or did you have a pretty good support system?
My wife has always been absolutely amazing in supporting me for my career. We've been together for over 10 years now. So when she and I met, I wasn't even in Ring of Honor. I was just doing independence, and I just went to Japan for Dragon Gate for a few months. But I had tried Ring of Honor. We had done a couple shows for them, and it hadn't worked out. So when I met my wife, I really had I wasn't making a living from wrestling. I would wrestle on weekends and work at a gas station during the week, and I was still very much chasing the dream,
Yeah.
But then we met, and, things went pretty quickly. we had our son about, a year after we met. So, I had a family very quickly. Like things got serious very quickly. Like I had to grow up, I couldn't, this working at the gas station and wrestling on the weekend was great if it was just me and her. But then when our son came along, I'm like, man, I got to make sure I can take care of them properly. So I changed jobs. I went from the gas station, because the thing about the gas station that was great is I worked there for like 7-8 years, and the manager there was super supportive of my wrestling. He would give me time off whenever I needed it, to do anything I needed, to go anywhere I needed, but then I wasn't making very much money at the gas station. And at the time, wrestling on the weekends was bringing me next to nothing. Yeah. So, I'm there. I have a wife and a kid that I need to take care of. So I changed jobs. I started working at a warehouse, which, wasn't quite as supportive as my wrestling as the gas station was. Sure. But I was making more money. So at that point I was thinking, maybe real life is about to take over on the dream. It's time to own up and make sure I'm responsible for this, for my family, and make sure I can take care of them. But then Ring of Honor, something opened up at Ring of Honor again, and I started wrestling for them. And then things kind of started to snowball, and my career started kind of, being on the upswing. So I kept going, I kept working, every weekday, and then I would get on the road, Friday morning and go wrestle. And my wife, even though, she was a brand new mom, but as you guys know, the kids don't come with there's no parenting, and like there's no instructions on how to do this. She was taking care of a baby by herself, and she was very supportive. But at one point, even with Ring of Honor, especially at a point where after a couple of years, in 2010, Ring of Honor went through a shift in management, and the people that came in and took over kind of decided they wanted to push me out. They weren't me and Sami both. They weren't fans of ours, and they just felt like we weren't contributing to the product the way that we felt we were, and pretty much every fan watching was into our stuff, but the people in charge weren't. So that at that point, I remember thinking, because I was under contract, they couldn't just kick me out, but they gave me 6 months off, and then it turned into a year off, and it wasn't that much money to them for me to lose. But for me, it was a big deal, the money that I was losing out on by not being able to do Ring of Honor, I needed that money. So at that point, I did feel like maybe it's better to just call it quits and just start a real job or whatever, or just focus on the warehouse as much as I can and try to make as much money as I can and try to advance in that, and, just settle into a normal 9-to-5 kind of life. But that was never for me, and my wife knew that. She always, supported me and told me, you need to keep going and you're going to get there. And I did. And her support was instrumental in that, as well as my parents, that were always there and always believed in me from the time I went to them and said, hey, I think I want to be a wrestler. They didn't say, oh, no, that's kind of silly. They're just like, oh, okay, well, they cultivated my interest and they pushed me towards it. So, that support system was really important in me even getting here, for sure.
It's so huge. It's so huge because it is one of those things, and I had the same conversation with my mom. It seems and it sounds to everyone else like such a pipe dream. I'm sure it's the same conversation that actors have with their parents or musicians have with their parents, anything, NFL, NHL, whatever it is. But that support is monumental, because if you don't have that, and I'm sure there's people that have made it that don't have it, but God, what a lonely existence. Like at worst, they're always there for you no matter what. And they wanted you to get that shot, to at least have that shot.
Yeah, man. Like, my parents bailed me out financially more times than I can count. When I was wrestling, I just wasn't making enough money to take care of the bills. And, I had my heating shut off at one point at the apartment, and my wife could have easily said, look, I I support you, but this is enough now. You know, our heating's cut off. We don't even have hot water. We can't do that.
And we live in Montreal, so it's not exactly warm.
Exactly. But she didn't. She never once asked me to stop. She never once told me anything, like that. She, if anything, she always told me, like when people would tell me the way I look isn't right, then, I gotta get in better shape and I gotta get better gear and, I don't want to throw names out there, but, I had people literally look at me in the eyes, tell me, you're never going to get to WWE the way you are.
Yeah.
She always said the opposite. She's like, no, you can do it. I know you can. You look everywhere you go, you manage to climb to the top. You can do this too. She was always behind me. Even when things were really bad, that's so important, because if it was the opposite, if my wife came to me and said, look, we don't have heating, we don't have hot water, we don't have heating, and we have a son, it's time to do something, it's time to concentrate on something else, I would have had to do it. You know what I mean? Because she would have been completely right.
Maybe that's why she didn't have a problem moving everybody down to Orlando when you went to the PC, because at least if your heating got cut off here, you're in Florida.
Man, at the time, so that's the thing, though. By the time that happened, I was making comfortable living, and we weren't in fear of losing our hot water or power. Everything was going pretty well because the independents had kind of exploded. And when I got signed to WWE, I would say, as humbly as I can say a statement like that, I was probably the top independent wrestler in the world as far as compensation and merch sales. So I was doing really, really well. And, it was scary because we were really enjoying our life there. We had our son. We had just had our daughter. We had a brand new baby girl, but, I would be home Monday through Thursday, and then I would leave Friday, come back Sunday, but I was making good money, and, we could just do whatever we wanted during the week and take care of our kids. And we were in a really good place. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, look, I know we have this brand new baby that's just a couple months old, and we have our, at the time we have our 6-7-year-old son, but, look, we're going to move everybody down to Florida, away from our families, away from the support system that's been so important these years, away from her family, because that's another thing. We lived in Montreal. We lived upstairs from her mom's. Her mom's had a duplex, and we lived in the apartment upstairs. So she was right by her family. And I took her away from that. I brought her to Orlando, where she had no one. You know what I mean? And I was, NXT is a full-time job. Like, you're the performance center, you're training, you're going on the NXT shows. I was home one Sunday. I was home one day a week, maybe, because sometimes that day would get taken away by, some sort of special event at the performance center, stuff like that. And she was taking care of 2 kids, one of which was a brand new little baby girl. So, it was pretty crazy for her to do that for me, but, she's always, like I said, she's always had my back, and, I wouldn't have made it without her support and her love, and, the kids too, My son's so understanding. He knows, he doesn't even make a peep, he knows that he's got to go to work, and I'll see him in a couple of days, or sometimes it'll be a couple of weeks, but he loves it, and, he's, seeing him enjoy it as much as I do is really cool. And now my daughter, she's 3.5 now, so she's way more aware of when I leave. And sometimes she'll say, "Oh, don't go, Daddy," but I say, "No, I got to go wrestle." She's like, "Oh, okay, go wrestle." And then she gets kind of excited and she likes watching it and stuff. So, their support means the world, man. You and I talk about, missing our kids when we're not around them. Like, it's just, it just makes everything so much harder. But having the support of our spouses and our wives being so, that makes a world of difference.
It does, man. My daughter's the same age as your daughter, and so is Jace. And it's the hardest part. Leaving is, you can see that they grasp it now, like that you're leaving. And it's, Beth explains to them, and I'm sure your wife explains to them, but there's still that, you're still not there to be able to grab them, pick them up, and hug them and everything. Yeah,
man. Like when things like last week happen in Vegas, like that makes it even harder to me. That, that's the first thing when I hear stuff like that. All I want for comfort is my kids, and my wife, and just being with my family and not being around them. That when stuff like that happens, it makes it even harder. Yeah, I don't know how. Now we have FaceTime and all that stuff. All this technology available to us to keep in touch and at least be able to see them. But I can't imagine, man, like the wrestlers in the '80s and stuff like that who didn't have that stuff and didn't even have cell phones. Like, man, I can't imagine how hard that must have been.
I don't think I would have been able to do it. I wouldn't be able to like do what I'm doing now if not. No, me neither. It's definitely thankful for technology. But like you said, with everything with Vegas, like immediately Papa Bear instinct comes in and go, okay, I want to get everybody and corral them in and just hold them and make sure that they know everything's okay.
For me, it's almost the opposite. I want them to protect me. It's the weirdest thing. Like I feel like I need their protection and comfort. As weird as that sounds,
No, it makes sense. I want to. Okay, so I'm you, right? And I'm like you. Jay and I both lifelong wrestling fans. Grew up wanting nothing but to do this. Discovered it around the same age as you. There's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, we're just three Canadian dads who love wrestling. And, that's really what we are.
It's true. It really is. So you talked about, your wife, your kids, parents, everyone supporting you, your relationship with Sami through all of this. Now, at what point, or is it you're standing backstage and that package airs? Because Jay and I talked about it before you came on and how great the package was of you and Shane for Hell in a Cell. You're standing backstage, you see that package, you're about to go out wrestle Shane McMahon after headbutting Vince McMahon, and you're about to stain the unicorn that is Sami Zayn and turn him heel. you're essentially turning this generation's Ricky Steamboat heel. How does all of that feel? Like, what are you feeling at that point?
It's funny you call Sami this generation's Ricky Steamboat because I was told him the one thing he was missing was coming out with a Komodo dragon and breathing fire. So it's ironic. But man,
or a karate gi would be awesome too.
That's right.
Tabby boots.
Man, how great would he look in a gi? That would be so good. With the belt could be orange to match his hair too.
Yeah. Oh man, I want to see that now.
You should now do a vignette with him where you're now training him to be more like a heel. You should have him fight a bunch of ninjas like Steamboat did.
Steamboat did.
Well, when people go through this turn, there's like a transition, Yeah. Sometimes they change looks, stuff like that. I think that's the way for him to go. So
I think so.
Orange belt. Because he's not even good. That's the thing. He's an orange belt.
Well, I guess it's not one of the top ones. No. So I wasn't really thinking about Sami's thing at all, man. I was. I don't know if you guys saw, but I tweeted out this video that WWE Digital, put out on WWE.com. This guy named Joey kind of followed me around for the day before and the day of the show, and just kind of got my thoughts and what I was thinking, what I was going through as I was getting ready for the match. And it's really, really good. There's some really great people on that WWE Digital team that put out some really great content on the website. And I tweeted out that link. It's like 6 minutes, but it really captures my my varying moods throughout the day. Like there's peacefulness and quietness and like this quiet excitement and this kind of just pondering and going through everything in my head. And then at one point I'm like more hyped, and I didn't even realize it as I was talking to him. But as I'm watching the video yesterday, I was like, man, I was getting really riled up at that point. And I guess that's really kind of what it came to. And then, when it was about time, like the show started and I was watching, the TV in the locker room and they had the video package, and that's always a great way to get real pumped up, because they do such a great job with those. Like I remember WrestleMania 32 was my first WrestleMania. We were first match, and I watched the package from the gorilla position. Man, I was losing my mind by the time it ended. I was so fucking ready to bust through that curtain and just go, Anyway, so then it's kind of the same thing. Hell in a Cell. I watched the package. I'm super pumped. I'm really I can't wait, but I have a couple hours to go before I'm out there. And then, the anticipation just builds, and then the video package for the match with Shane airs, and I'm in Gorilla, and then, that they start dropping the cell and that ominous music, that it just really does something to you. By the time I walked through that curtain, I was so ready to just, I knew we had to go inside the cage, but I was ready to just go up there right away. You know what I mean? I was just like, let's just start at the top, man. Let's just go wild,
Yeah.
It was just, I was just so excited, dude. Like, I watched countless of the Hell in a Cell matches. I remember the first one. I remember pretty much every one of them. So again, like I said, I never lost that sense of being a fan. So to be in a Hell in a Cell match on its own, like last year I was in Hell in a Cell, but we weren't the main event, but it still felt amazing to just be in a Hell in a Cell match and be able to say, man, I was in a Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This year it was headlining the show. It was the focal point of the show, and it was a proper Hell in a Cell match. Like, we broke through the cell. We ended up on top. There was crazy stuff left and right. It felt great to be part of the spectacle that Hell in a Cell can be. And, obviously you're in there with Shane McMahon. People have high expectations because he's insane. That's been well documented. So, man, it was just such a rush. I can't even, like, the adrenaline didn't wear off for hours. I was up till 6 a.m. Even though I was exhausted, like the night before. I talk about it a little bit in that video that's on YouTube there that W Digital put out. My parents flew in for the show, and so I was waiting for them, and the hotel room I booked the hotel was oversold because there's a football game in Michigan or in Detroit, and then I didn't get into my room until 5 a.m. And then my parents came in at 8 a.m. and their room wasn't ready, so I ended up sleeping on the ground for like 4 hours because obviously I'm not going to let my parents. So the night before headlining this pay-per-view, I was sleeping on the ground and I slept for like 3-4 hours, and that's all I had. I was really exhausted. Then I went through the match and I'm sore and I'm hurting, and I still couldn't go to bed that night until 6 a.m. the next day because the adrenaline, like when I climbed on that cell and I looked down and then Shane went up and we started fighting on there, the adrenaline was it was just so, I don't know how to describe the amount of adrenaline you get, but it was just so overwhelming that it didn't wear off for several hours after. It was just such a rush. It's really hard to put into words.
What I love about that story is that, a lot of people have this misconception that WWE superstars and, it's this live like rock stars where we're partying on buses or whatever. No, you sleep on the floor the night before. And yes, you've been Universal Champion. We talked about that, but this was your biggest match. Yeah. As much as you've done everything almost there is to do, this was the biggest match so far. And you're sleeping on the floor the night before your biggest match.
I mean, and I'm sure some, I don't know if other guys would have, maybe other guys would have reacted differently and put up a huge fight at the front desk to get the room and all this stuff, because I basically got screwed, and I wasn't the only one. Like, there was 50 people in that lobby all waiting for their rooms, and it wasn't happening. I was lucky enough to get one room. I didn't have the two rooms. I had one room with one king bed, but my parents were coming in a few hours later. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to make my parents sleep on the ground. So to me, the only option. So I also called the front desk to get a little rollaway bed brought in, and they're like, yeah, no problem. And then it never came. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess the ground is. Yes, but you know how many times I slept on the ground throughout my independent career? Like, it was, back then it wasn't even a thought like, there's 4 guys in the same room. Well, this little nook over here next to the TV cabinet seems pretty nice, and that was it. That was my spot. So I don't know if other guys that didn't go through the independent scene and just that kind of grind might have reacted differently. But to me, it wasn't really a big deal. And even my parents like, you can't sleep on the ground. You've got this match tonight. Yeah. Like, well, no, there's nothing else we can do. My dad, I'll just sleep in this chair. I'm like, no.
You made it.
I'll be fine.
You made it because I'm sure the carpet in that room was much cleaner than the ones that you slept on in the independent.
Yes, that's actually that's a fact. I remember one specific hotel room in Houston on a WrestleMania weekend. Ring of Honor was running there, so we were there. But the hotel they got us was, first of all, they waited too long, so they got the worst hotel. Like, they got what was left, and what was left was terrible. Sleeping on the ground of that particular room was a challenge in itself. It was an adventure in itself, because the first, I remember walking into that room, it was in 2009. First thing I saw when I walked into that room was a cockroach run across the the floor. That literally we just walked in. And the guys that did sleep in the bed slept on top of the blankets, fully clothed. It was just bad.
Yeah.
But yes, the Marriott at the Detroit airport has a wonderful, nice, clean carpet. It's kind of thick too, so it wasn't too bad. I was even able to tell my parents, like, no, it's better if I sleep on the ground anyway for my back. Like, and they bought
keep my back aligned.
They bought the lie, like, no problem, because the carpet, the carpet's not that bad. I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
It's funny. I became kind of a hotel snob when I got on the road with WWE because I slept in so many crappy hotels in my career early on, and my rule was if I couldn't take my socks off in the hotel, I wouldn't stay there. And
it seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, right. So I remember this one
here's
time
my question: how did you test that theory? Like, did you go in, take your socks off, go, no, not happening here,
I would go in
and leave?
I would walk in the room, and if it was sufficient, and if it wasn't, I would go back and I would check out. I'd be like,
but how could you tell if you? So you went in, you took your shoes and your socks off, is what you did.
No, I could tell by looking at it, and also with one of those flashlight things. I carried one of those lights. But I remember this one time we were traveling and we were in somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Saskatchewan. We were driving. We were late at night. It was me, Tommy Dreamer, and I can't remember who. Somebody else was riding with us, and so we were in the middle of nowhere, and we stopped. And we're like, there was like this little hotel, and it was the only thing that had a vacancy, and it was like one of the old indie motels with the rooms on the outside. It was this crappy motel with like blinking lights outside, and it was the only motel, and it was like $159 a night. That shows you how there was no other hotels around. So I get in this room, and I walk in, and it's so dirty, and it's like got like wood paneling on the walls, and I was like, oh my god, my sock rule is not happening tonight. I pulled the sheets down, and there was kind of like stains on the sheets, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm just gonna have to sit in this chair and sleep in the chair. But then there was like stains on the chair, and then I opened the curtains, and there was a graveyard behind the motel, and I was like, I'm out of here. And it's like 3 o'clock in the morning because we're driving, and there's nowhere else to go, and Tommy had the keys to the car, so I couldn't even sleep in the car. So I took a pillow, I wrapped some T-shirts that I already had around the pillow, so I wasn't touching the actual material of the pillowcase. I put my own T-shirts around it, and I slept on the hood of the car outside this motel somewhere in Saskatchewan as a WWE superstar.
Well, let me ask you this now. That's as glamorous as it gets. But once you use the T-shirts as the pillowcase, did you wear the T-shirts later?
No, I threw them. No, they were like gym shirts, so I threw them out.
Okay, because I was going to say then you just welcome the disgustingness and dirtiness of the pillowcase onto your body, and it just made everything worse.
I think I just threw the whole thing back in the room and left.
Yeah, T-shirts included.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the sacrifices that your family made and your foundation and all of that made. They're able to be there. How good do you think they feel? And is there's got to be that part of you that goes, all right, thank you. Like, look at what's happened because of what you guys have all sacrificed over the years.
Yeah, man. Like that's, obviously a big part of making the WWE money is saving the WWE money for the days. But I will say this, I dragged my wife through 10 years of hard times and pretty modest living because I was chasing this dream, and she always had my back, like I said, and my parents, like I mentioned earlier, bailed me out a lot when I needed them, always actually. Whenever I needed them, they were there. So saving is obviously a big thing on my mind, but also I spoil my family. I try to give my wife and my kids and my parents, anything they need and they want, because without them, like I said, I wouldn't have been there. I wouldn't be here. And that's a very rewarding thing, is to be able to, like my wife would talk about things and dream of these things. And, she never in her wildest dream thought we'd get to have those things. And now I'm able to give them to her, and it's so great. Like I can't put, like, that's the best feeling to get to give back to them for them believing in me. You know what I mean? And then, to take them along to the shows. My wife would drive with me back in the day for 8-9 hours. Me and Sammy, she'd drive with us to go to Ring of Honor, and she'd stay with me at the crappy hotel, and she'd come to the show and watch us wrestle in front of like 300-400 people. And now she gets to come to WrestleMania, and she gets to come to SummerSlam and the big ones, because obviously, we can't take my son out of school all the time as much as I wish I could, take them to every pay-per-view. We just can't, but she comes to the bigger shows, and it's always so great to have her there and to be able to share that with her. And, my parents will come here and there as well. Like, they flew to Detroit for Hell in a Cell, and, my dad and my mom are so, like, that was an important part of getting to WWE too, was I wanted to get there just so I could tell my parents that everything they did for me was worth it, because look, I made it. So to be able to see how proud it makes them and share that with them too, it just makes everything, just being in WWE on its own is really, the culmination of a career. And, then the career you get to have in WWE is like almost like just a bonus, especially considering things are going so well for me. It's really great. But to get to share that with my wife and my kids and share it with my parents, it just makes everything so much more meaningful, man. It's a very special feeling.
Well, it's going to be hard to hate you after listening to this. People are going to be like, "Man, I don't want to hate that dude. I don't like him. He's a good dude."
A lot of the natural hatred that people have for me comes from the fact that I'm Canadian, yes, but I'm French Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow that really brings out a whole other level in people for some reason. I don't see why. I think French Canadian people are wonderful. But,
well, me
I don't
too.
know, that works to my advantage when we're looking for people to dislike me somehow.
Well, I know you got to go to work today. You got to follow up on Hell in a Cell, so we don't want to keep you. But, you said something interesting. You said, chasing the dream to get there. Here's my mentality on it, and take it for what you will. And I'll keep sending you texts and direct messages when I see stuff and everything, but keep treating it like you're chasing the dream. And then that way,
right,
you'll always be churning, man. You'll always be doing what you've been doing. And it's, when you reach the top, that's when that's when you got to find that gear. And I always found if you keep treating it like you're chasing the dream, then you will, just naturally.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and I can actually assure you that that's kind of the case, because my DVD came out recently, which is crazy. They already made a Kevin Owens DVD. Like, that's wild in itself. That was also
Jay still can't get one.
Nope.
Oh, boy.
Never had one. It's my goal, and I've talked about it before. My goal was to be the only superstar that never got his own DVD.
After 20 years, still never got his own.
It's your goal not to have one now.
Yes.
Oh, well, then, that's cool.
Mission
You got to
accomplished.
tell people not to, yeah. Well, you just got to keep telling people don't do it. And then eventually, I feel like soon enough, DVDs will just become a obsolete technology, and then you're safe, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
When I'll get it.
You know what they'll do? They'll do a Christian laser disc.
Yeah.
Maybe they can bring back the VHS tape for you. So you still get the gratification having one made about your career, but nobody can watch it.
Yeah.
So you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So anyway, the point I was about to make is in that DVD, one of my really close friends, Chris Scoville, who's known in wrestling as Jimmy Jacobs, who worked with me in WWE behind the scenes, he talks about how my drive and my obsession with getting higher and higher is a blessing and a curse, because it's kind of what keeps me going. But I'm also kind of never satisfied. I think that chasing the dream aspect of it that you just told me about is, I'm never gonna. I don't think it's just my personality. I'm never gonna be able to not do that. Even when I'm at the top and I should be happy, I still feel like things could be better.
Well,
you know what I mean? So
I can only put it in personal terms, but I mean,
be satisfied when you're retired.
I was never satisfied either. I think that's just something that it's a self-motivation tool that certain people use. And maybe there are some people, like you said earlier, getting to WWE is just one thing. Maybe getting to WWE is okay for some people, but for the guys that really step up and get to the top, that's not enough.
Keep tearing it up and be satisfied when you retire, like I said, and we'll be watching. I'll keep sending you motivational texts and direct
Yeah, please
messages
do.
here and
They
there.
really mean a lot. It's always great to hear from you guys. And whenever you guys come around, it's always such a blast to get to share a bit of time with you guys. I really appreciate it.
Hopefully you slept on the floor last night to get your back in line after that.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I slept in bed all night. I gotta realign my back now. Enough of this comfy crap.
All right, man. Thanks again for joining us. Have a good one.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
See you, buddy. Thanks, Kev. So that was great.
Yeah, really good.
Really good conversation. You know what's great about Kevin is we didn't need to ask him anything. He just started going and answered all of the stuff that I was already going to ask him.
He rocket strapped himself.
He rocket strapped himself. You're damn right he did.
Yeah, he didn't need the strappers. He strapped himself.
Man, he strapped himself in. He just
didn't even see it coming.
Man.
No, but very enlightening. Good to get his kind of take on everything, not just on the recent, obviously huge deal, headbutting Vince in the face, the Hell in a Cell with Shane McMahon, but his relationship with Sami Zayn, his family, his kids, his parents, the road that he took to get to where he is, and sometimes we lose sight of the fact that the long journey that some people take, the unconventional journey in some senses, makes you appreciate where he's at now.
Yeah, it really does. And you get a sense from the guys and the girls who grew up as lifelong fans, and whether your job as a fan is to boo them or cheer them, I think it's easier to react to someone that is just like you in terms of just being a fan of the product and the industry. And we can get jaded and we can complain about this, that, and the other as an audience member, but at the end of the day, we're all fans of this really cool thing. And it's refreshing to hear somebody who's at the top of the industry right now and still maintains that.
Yeah. And you can usually pick out the performers, guys or girls, that were huge fans, lifelong fans. There's something different about them. You can usually pick them out. So, and you never stop being a fan. That's a cool thing, right? Like all these things are happening to you and you're a fan. I remember being backstage and certain guys would come up that you grew up watching and idolizing, and then you're kind of geeking out in your own mind, like, oh my God, I can't believe that this person knows who I am. We're talking and the whole thing, and you never stop being a fan, and that's the cool thing about this business. It allows you to be a fan while doing it.
Yeah. Yep. And good stuff. Hell in the Cell, him and Sami going forward would be interesting to see what they do. Like I said, he's staying the unicorn. It's the equivalent of Morocco and Fuji turning Steamboat, and instead of doing what it was, a dragon pit match that him and Morocco always had. What was it?
I can't wait
to dojo match.
I can't wait to see him in that karate gi with the orange belt,
and also ninja tabi boots with the karate gi. I think would really be the kind of the bow on that.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be like the taxi driver checker type gi.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Do they make those?
I don't know. You can probably have them custom made. Owens making some big coin now. Just said it.
Yeah, right.
Maybe he's gonna treat Sami too.
Just get that shit made.
Yeah. So he owes him one.
Well,
put him
again,
on the table.
Great talk. It was good to catch up with him. One of the guys. I feel like, honestly, when I go back, I feel like Sean used to with us, how he'd try and find us and sit down and just talk about family and life and everything. I feel like Kevin is one of those guys when I go back that I find and do that. So it comes full circle, Bird.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying here. Yeah. It's, it's the circle of life.
Yeah.
It
would be good for me if he slapped your ass. That'd work out well.
Now you want other people to slap my ass. So weird. On a completely different note, Mick Foley is having his auction live October 17th.
Yes.
Hashtag Wrestlers for Puerto Rico. You have donated. I will be donating. Beth and I will be donating. So all kinds of other people donating. Go on Mick's Twitter. It's at Real Mick Foley. You can get all of the deets there.
Amazing idea that Mick came up with, and he's a good soul person, good heart and always likes to help people. So,
And Puerto Rico needs help.
yeah. So basically, what it is it's going to be an auction where some of the top wrestling stars from all corners will be hopefully donating items to Mick, and he will auction them off with all proceeds going to help the people.
There's you, Seth Rollins, myself, Beth. I mean, there's a lot of people from, all different parts of the industry that are already, jumping in to donate stuff. So hop on there, go on his website, Real McFoley. It goes live October 17th. So gotta mention that. And I got to figure out what I'm going to send. But keep an eye peeled, folks.
Yeah, with all proceeds going to help the people of Puerto Rico that were devastated by the recent hurricane. So it's a great cause. So make sure you check out that auction.
And I think, Bird, it's time. It's time to take it home. It's time to jump off the cell. It's time to drop that elbow and take it on home.
Oh, we got to take it home now, Edge. As they say in the business, we got to take it home. Ooh, Lance is out there pulling on his tie, brother. Oh, he's about to throw the pet sledge. Here we go.
It's time to go wine and dine with some kings and queens, baby. Happy birthday, Big Duff.